Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm the GQ Jedi. If you're not already subscribed to me, blast that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any valuable Star Wars content. A few people have reached out to me asking me about my opinion on the new Hasbro Retro Collection 6-pack that they are going to release. As you guys know, I don't really do modern. I don't collect modern toys whatsoever. I'm not a fan of Hasbro. However, the 6-pack has piqued my curiosity a little bit. Some of these figures haven't been made by Kenner. Well, let's be honest, all but one figure hasn't been made by Kenner. But, I am curious. I'm very curious. In the 6-pack, we have a Rebel Fleet Trooper. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that does not need to be remade. I certainly don't need whatever Hasbro is cooking up on this particular figure. Stan Solo has done a bang-up job on the Rebel Fleet Trooper. I featured it in a video before. You probably have seen the figure floating around in other videos of mine because it is in my collection and I do display it proudly. That figure is perfect. Stan Solo knocked it out of the park with the Rebel Fleet Trooper. I do not believe that Hasbro can do anything to improve upon it. That being said, we'll see what happens, but I'm not holding my breath for any miracles. The other figure that I do not believe it's going to hold any interest for me is the Han and Stormtrooper outfit. Again, Stan Solo. Guys, you know how I feel about Stan Solo. I love Kenner. I believe this stuff, but I do love the custom makers out there, and Stan Solo has done a bang-up job on all the figures that he's put out. And so I, of course, have the Han and Stormtrooper outfit. Again, what is Hasbro going to do to improve upon this? They gave us a Luke Stormtrooper, I should say. Kenner gave us a Luke and Stormtrooper outfit. Kenner should have given us a Han and Stormtrooper outfit, but they just didn't get to it. Maybe if they'd been around past 85, we would have got that Han Stormtrooper. But like I said, Stan Solo has already done it. It's one of his very first figures. I own it. I love it. Can't see Hasbro improving upon it. However, there are some figures that Kenner hasn't made. No customizer that I've seen that does it factory style like Stan Solo has made a figure like the Luke Yavin Ceremony. I have a Luke and Ceremony outfit somewhere in my collection that has been a boil and pop head swap kind of customization figure, but not a factory made figure. So I am curious to see what Kenner, you can see where my heart and my head is at. Sorry, Kenner. Hasbro, see what Hasbro cooks up. I have no idea what they have planned. I haven't seen any, pre-production images of these figures yet. But like I had said at the onset of this video, some folks have asked me what are my thoughts on these figures. Am I going to get them? I don't know. I have to see what they look like first. I don't collect Hasbro, but I do have a Tarkin and a Mon Mothma figure, two figures of which I did not buy. I was graciously sent them by one, my brother, and two, a good friend of mine, kind of filled in those holes. My biggest gripe with the 6-pack is that if they're going to do it like they did before, you have to buy the entire 6-pack. I don't want to buy the 6-pack just to get maybe one figure that I'm curious about, like the Luke Yavin Ceremony figure. I don't want to buy a 6-pack. I really hope Hasbro releases this as a 6-pack, but then also individually. That would make it a little lighter on the pocketbook and perhaps not having surplus of figures that you really don't need or want. That brings me to my next figure, the Walrus Man. Now, as you guys know, we have a Walrus Man, a beautiful Walrus Man. Sits proudly in my collection. Kenner did it right. It was one of the 4 Cantina aliens that we did get from Kenner back in the day. Ponda Baba, Walrus Man, whatever you want to call him. He's perfect. He's that true 70s retro color. However, it's interesting to see what Hasbro are going to do with Mr. Walrus Man. Is he going to have a orange jacket? Is he going to have a big head? What is Hasbro going to do with Walrus Man? I am very curious. Which brings me to my next point. They are making a Dr. Evazan. So it kind of makes sense if they're going to do a Walrus Man that they would probably do a Dr. Evazan, because these two are like, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid walking into a bar and you know what happens from there. So they are the Bert and Ernie duo. We'll see what happens. Next 17 put out a Dr. Evazan figure, which you guys have seen that review, I'm sure. And if you haven't, check out that video. But Next 17 has made a great factory-made Dr. Evazan. Sits in my cantina next to the Kenner Walrus Man. Do I need another Dr. Evazan? No, I do not. But again, sight unseen, let's see what Hasbro does. If they can improve upon it, they can make a stellar figure, well, then they just might get my money. Maybe. We'll see. No promises. Not holding my breath. I hate Hasbro. I know it's going to turn some of your stomachs. Some of you guys out there may be flipping the channel right now as you hear me say these words, but I really don't. I don't like Hasbro's business practices. They've made a lot of toys, and when back in the day when I collected modern, I gave them my money. I was all about, the post-85 world of Star Wars when Star Wars came back into the toy aisles in 95, 96, 7, 8, and then boom, it just took off from there. Like, I got those Han Solo type figures back in the day. I was excited to get those, and eventually I got over it, and I just stopped collecting modern altogether and just took a straight nosedive into Kenner, and I haven't looked back. It's been the best thing ever. But I, maybe, just maybe, Hasbro might get my money. I don't know. On a couple of these figures, I don't know. Have to really see them, guys. To me, a lot of people have asked me if do I collect the retro line? I don't, because I have all these figures. Why am I going to give Hasbro my money for figures that I already own, that already exist? Why do I want duplicates of what I would consider a knockoff? It's not Kenner making them, it's Hasbro. There's a 78 to 85, and I say 78 to 85 because the figures really didn't come out around in 77, it was more 78. That little time period, that's true vintage, that's true Kenner. Hasbro came after that. They might have bought Kenner, but they weren't Kenner. That was a big difference, big difference. So I don't know. I just had a very, Hasbro's left a bad taste in my mouth, guys. I can't even, talk. I'm just thinking about Hasbro makes me want to spit. But as I always tell you guys, you do you, I do me. Collect what you want. I'm not here to preach to you about why you should or shouldn't collect Hasbro. I don't really care what you guys do. It's up to you. It's your collection. You got to stare at it, not me. But me personally, if you're asking, if that's how I feel, I'm not a Hasbro guy. However, another figure has not been made, not in this iteration, is the Sand Trooper. Yes, we got a Stormtrooper. We got a beautiful Stormtrooper, but we only got the one version. It'd be nice to get a sandy, orange-colored pauldron on a Sand Trooper, thus making him a Sand Trooper, so we can reenact the, look sir droids moment, or the, these aren't the droids you're looking for moment, or whatever you want to do with your Tatooine setups. So I'm curious, are they just going to slap on a detachable pauldron, which, again, customizers have done in the past, and released a figure that literally just has that, a detachable pauldron, and that's it. That's nothing else to it. So is Hasbro going to do that, or are they going to make it a fixed thing on the shoulder where it does not remove and somehow make it a different figure? Is it going to come packaged with a long blaster rifle? There are options. Hasbro, don't blow it. If you guys are going to make this figure, do it right. I don't really need the figure, but I'm curious to see what they do with it. Maybe, just maybe, they might knock it out of the park. We shall see. That's all I can really say. And guys, that's it. I think that's the 6 figures. We got the Rebel Fleet Trooper, we got the Han Storm, the Luke and Yavin Ceremony, Walrus Man, Sand Trooper, and the Dr. Evon. Yeah, that's all 6. That's what's popping in this 6-pack. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to go down that road. I got the Tarkin, which, like I said, my brother gave to me. And then a friend gifted me the Mon Mothma, which I've reviewed. And I tore that thing straight out of the package as soon as I got it. That packaging, let's talk about that packaging, guys. That packaging is atrocious. The fake weathering, the stupid retro sticker. This stuff looks like shit. I'll just say it looks like shit. I'm not really a fan of any of the stuff that they do trying to appeal to us, 40 plus and older kids. Get out of here with that garbage. Nobody likes that packaging, let's be honest. So maybe, just maybe, Hasbro will wise up and do something cooler this time around. I don't think they will, but hey, it's possible. So there you have it, guys. That is, that's the whole kit and caboodle. That's my thoughts on the new 6-pack that Hasbro is going to release. And like I said, maybe, just maybe, they'll release them as individual figures so that guys like me can maybe cherry pick and only buy 1 or 2 of these figures that they so desire. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. I've said this 3 times now in this video. It's because I truly mean it. I'm not really impressed with anything that Hasbro does. And I say this because I hear complaints from people. I see it in the comments on groups and forums. People message me about stuff, complain about things. So even though I'm not a collector of Hasbro, I hear and see enough of it to know that I'm not missing anything. Not when it comes to the vintage retro collection. I'm not missing anything. This, as far as I'm concerned, this is the vintage collection right here. You're looking at it behind me. That is it. That's all I'll ever really need. But if Hasbro knocks this stuff out of the park, really adds something, really makes it seamless and a desirable figure that, you know, Kenner would have done in the style that Kenner would have made, hey, I'll call a spade, you know. I'll tip my hat to them and maybe I'll purchase those things. I will say this, it was cool of Hasbro to put in a yak face in the previous set that they released, because a lot of people didn't get a yak face back in the day, don't want to cough up $500-600+ for a Kenner vintage yak face. So that was kind of cool that Hasbro did that. But as far as regurgitating figures that most of us collectors already have, because again, who's buying these figures? Not new collectors, guys like you and me, guys that are into the vintage Kenner line. So they're trying to appeal to us. But again, give us stuff we never got. So here's your chance, Hasbro. Here's your chance. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly appreciate you tuning in. And if you did enjoy it, please share it. Give the old like button a thumbs up, because it really supports the channel. And if you've not already done so, blast that subscribe button and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any valuable Star Wars content. And remember, collect or collect not. There is no try.